Alright, we have arrived for episode 73. No, for just episode 73. Off the heels of the most tightly contested championship so far, the Styx 80 Cup. I swear by next year we'll have a name for it, I promise you. But in the meantime, L. Ratio. Anyway, the return to, standard fare racing. There are a few debuts in this episode, mostly just new cars, really. We have one new driver in store, but I think 4 new vehicles and a couple of new designs. So, yeah, I guess we'll just head into the first race so we can, do the thing with the debuting cars, because that's kind of how this series has worked for the last 72 episodes of me. Episode 73 is underway, and we head to Trial Mountain, a track we actually haven't really been to in a while. There was a time when this was like one of the most used circuits in the Challenger series, but we took a break, it seems. But it returns, and of course, the 720 category, because that seemed to always be what was running here. It was like the perfect length, and the track was very accommodating of the different cars in the category. As some were top speed oriented, some were not. And you could get by with either one here at Trial Mountain. We are on board with Brian Ice, who I think considers this track his home circuit because it's as close as he gets. You got it there, Shoji? Oh, Paul's running Brian over. I think Brian Ice considers this circuit his home circuit because it's really close to the Canadian border. Closer than most others. The only other track that gets anywhere close to being that close, what the hell, is, like, Watkins Glen. With a bit of defense from DePrisco, Ice will make up 3 places and 1 hairpin. Down the inside of Thomas, also gets alongside Riho, but she has to pit for damage anyway, so she didn't really put up any resistance to Brian, as do a few other cars. Riley has damage. That's not Riley, that's Riley. As does Mika, and then like the whole bottom 5. Anywho, back up to the front-running cars, and I think I just almost watched Dante Wright run into Krieger, but manages to avoid contact. And then we have Brian Ice battling another Lamborghini in the form of Nitori. Nitori's not making this easy on him either. But Ice will... my word, my throat's not been bad up until this point. Will sneak on the outside of Nitori and be on his merry way. Only 4 more overtakes left to make for the Diablo driver, and he will be the leader. Jake Scarborough is going to make an overtake of his own and get ahead of Mosan down the back straightaway. Might get the leader as well. He will. The AMG's horsepower paying out well, as Jake Scarborough will grab the lead from Alice Carson. Now, can Jake stay there? Well, Brian Ice is on the attack. Not looking super likely at the moment, as he is very quick. You get to see the lap time comparisons here in a moment, but I don't think they'll matter. I think Brian Ice is going to be able to take the lead on the front stretch. Jake got a bit of snap oversteer on the corner exit. Yeah. Brian caught 3.5 seconds or more on that lap. And so now he just has to make good on his escape plan. And the victory will be his, pretty much. Katsuragi is now next in line to attempt to pass the A220. Unlike Scarborough, though, Veronica doesn't really have that straight line speed to fall back on in this NSX. She also got a really bad run out of that hairpin. Paul Valentine is also on the warpath, as he's just taken P7 from Krieger. And he has the absolute fastest car in the straight line here, I think. And then maybe Futaba's gets close, we'll see. What does the Corvette Miata do down the front straight, or back straightaway? Never mind, it blows that Focus out of the water. But it's also got to brake a lot earlier than it does, and it's not four-wheel drive. And it's also running 13th, so... Whereas Valentine, yep. Paul Valentine has caught this sort of upper mid-pack. Krieger has followed him into it as well. Paul has been boxed in between Veronica and Nidori, as Nidori tries to take spot of what the heck. Okay, or Nidori just pansies out, and then Paul Valentine just says, alright, cool, my spot. Gets to the outside of Katsuragi, can he go around there? No. Maybe, you got a huge exit there, four-wheel drive assisted. That's still not enough. Katsuragi is holding on to 5th for her life at this point. But now we're about to enter the back straightaway, and I think Valentine's about to eat that Honda for breakfast. Or just run it right out of the way. What the heck? That seems oddly out of character. Must have understeered. He still has time to get up to 3rd as well. Those two are right for the picking up ahead if he can get a good exit onto the front stretch, perhaps. Maybe even sooner, paced at that Focus is demonstrating that Ford GT LM engine-powered Focus. He's taken the engine from a Ford GT race car, thus giving it more power than the road-going Ford GT of, say, Carl Watts. He's taken it and put it in an all-wheel drive rally machine. Speaking of machine, Brian Ice will take his out of the last turn. And this isn't quite Canada, but Brian Ice is going to treat it as such, and take the W at Trail Mountain. Jake Scarborough, not too far off in P2. Alice Carson, will she hold on to P3? No, sir! Paul Valentine will out-drag the NSX to grab the final podium place. So it was basically just a piss measuring contest between Ice and Valentine. Who gets further up the running order? They started 19th and 20th in this race, and they ended up finishing 3rd and 1st respectively. So Paul and Brian seem to own this track. On to round 2, I suppose. Here's a funny thing. The Dirt Division is here at Sardinia Windmills ahead of the next episode, the race of this episode. These races are supposed to be arranged in categorical order. They're open category, but the races' starting grids are always determined with the highest class starting first. So there's all the 680s, and you can look back and see the 640s, and you can see a couple of 600s from here too, like Amber's Renault R5 and Melissa Weiss's Stratos. But apparently, from what I've been told, Sami Rantanen, who is our POV driver of this race, decided no. He made a bet against his close friend, Tetsuya Harada, saying that he could start from last and still beat him. So he's taking the grid in last behind all the 600 category vehicles that are in this race, all 4 of them, I believe. And he is going to try and win the race from back here. The thing is, I don't really necessarily doubt that he can do it. It's just a matter that it is a little dangerous, more so for the 600 class cars than anything. So yeah, let's just get this underway. And the green is out. And that is a very foreboding front row of cars, as we have Tetsuya Harada, who is like the master of the Hokkaido Rally. And then behind him is Colin Morris, who is a 6-time Rallycross champion and is driving a piece of rally machinery of his own. And then we just have Riho Futaba in a truck, and then Rally Stally in a Mustang, who is, well, you would think it was a 4-wheel drive conversion. It's not, I assure you. How did Nidori get ahead of my dad off the start? That thing is 4-wheel drive. My dad does a bit of elbows out driving, and he will get back ahead of her. Meanwhile, our betting man is running P13 ahead of all the 600 cars. Not that I figured it would take that long. Yo, Yellow Eagle 5, Breaks into the top 10, takes a very wide arc into this low speed section. Alright. Styles on Axel Valentine for no reason. It's not quite making the turn. That is. It almost looks like this Evo is understeering. The way that Sammy is holding the wheel here. Clears the Challenger and breaks into the 680 cars, where this is about where he should have started this race in, P8. Logan Cool gets very far out of shape, manages to keep it off the barrier, but is now vulnerable to Rantanen. And ahead goes the Evo. Bradley Hunter attends his first Dirt Division race of the season, or just in general even, I think. That Nova can't be very easy to drive in these conditions. All of that horsepower just going to the rear wheels, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. But he hasn't crashed it, so... as we are about to approach half distance of this event, and Rantanen is already running in the top 5. Yeah, from what I understand, usually at the aforementioned at the aforementioned Hokkaido Rally, it usually is a battle for third because it's usually Rantanen and Harada running the show. So I'm not even the least bit surprised that Rantanen is making his way through the field so quickly here. I mean, just look at the way he's attacking these corners compared to everybody else. I can see why Thrasher's doing that, because he's in a rear-wheel drive car. Also, Thrasher overtook an off-road truck in a Mustang, off-road. What is four-wheel drive? Thrasher don't need that. He is the Rally Sally. Rallian Stallion, if you will. I feel like its full name. Yeah, just the way that Rantanen is attacking each of these corners is very different from how the rest of the running order is doing so. Except for this one, everybody kind of has a basic idea of how to make this downhill left. Some are obviously doing it better than others, but... Now we have the Subi-Evo war that we've been waiting for. Never mind, because Colin Morris just muscles his way, trying to barge his way through ahead of Sammy. He had a plan to make that a wide apex and get a better exit, but then Colin Morris said no. You should really cross these nuts, basically. It seems like something he probably might say, too. Yep, go ahead and style on the Subaru. The drift angle, oh my god. He doesn't even pass Tetsuya with that move. He just gets the better exit somehow, and that is how he takes the lead as we head on down to the front stretch to take the final lap of this race. Everyone's getting a little bit out of shape through there, except for Thrasher, who didn't. Oh, these two are still battling. I moved the camera away like some sort of idiot. Yeah, I think they're probably about used to this, aren't they? Okay, Thrasher just barged his way ahead of Colin Morris, probably saw how he tried to pass Rantanen earlier, and it was like, what if I did that? Use the way of the Mustang to his advantage to make some space for himself, I suppose. So Thrasher is not only overtaking an off-road pickup truck, but he's also overtaking an rallycross car, basically. Driven by a rallycross legend in a rear-wheel drive Mustang. But he holds no candle to the top two, as Sammy Rantanen gets very out of shape, nearly rolls that Evo 5 a second time, but still crosses the line in first place. Tetsuya Harada and Thrasher are on the podium alongside him, and Colin Morris probably feels like a bit of an idiot. For the winners of the other categories, it looks like Nitori is going to be the top driver in the 600 class. And although they will not finish the race in time, as the recording's about to end, Andreas Vitalis looks like he's pretty far away ahead of second in class Melissa Weiss. And Amber Ashhart and Emiya Barzaki are nowhere even near him, so safe to say that the Delta will win the 600 category race. And there's the dirt event in the books. So now I suppose we head into round 3. Fight. And we are green for the third race of this episode. We head to Brands Hatch's Indy layout. Why do they call that? Did they race Indy cars here somehow? Anyway, I think they did actually. And it is the 600 category because it's about the only category that I can really justify racing at a layout that's this short. Thomas O'Reilly in his unique 1932 Roadster is the POV driver of this one, and we do have one new driver on offer, and they make their first start in this race. I think we just saw the top half of their car across the screen there. The estranged mother of Stephanie, Liza Kaiser, enters the fray, driving what I believe was her father's 1973 Porsche Carrera. And it looked a little bit unstable going in there, but based on the little sample size I got of her personality, I think she's more than confident in her ability to keep it under control. Yep, she just made an overtake on Sebastian Sham to grab P3. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say that she probably knows what she's doing. Meanwhile, as Hanamura is getting very physical with Minako Kochiya for P6, that has left him vulnerable to Natsuki behind. Will she capitalize? Well, she will certainly try to if she gets down the inside of the S13. Who has the horsepower advantage? Minako moves down a half a lane to take the slipstream benefits away from Hanamura. Are we gonna go 3 wide into T1 here? Oh, we sure are! Ooh, boy. Not a lot of space for anybody there. It looks like Minako's gonna actually defend her position brilliantly there. But then Natsuki will just get down the inside of the next hairpin. And now, I think the 8.6 will move up into P6. Maybe. Minako's fighting back, but she's gonna bounce off that curb and force Natsuki off the circuit entirely. Minako also oversteers into Thomas, who saw the whole thing coming, and now he's running P6. So, because of how long you 3 fought over it, now none of you get it. Thomas is the one that'll have P6 instead. Somebody who, you know, was able to take it and stay there, as he now gets ahead of another 8.6 in the form of James Altenberg. Should out-drag that Scirocco. Yeah, no issues there. Meanwhile, the battle is about over back here for the moment. So we'll continue to monitor the progress of O'Reilly as he heads up towards the second hairpin again. Got a big exit there. Oh, that's a decisive dive bomb, but he makes it clean. Liza cutting him a break there. And Thomas is now third. Meanwhile, back here again, and yeah, this battle's over. Nope, Natsuki is actually right there on the tail of Kochiya. These two are friends, by the way. These two are mutual friends by way of Suwako, more or less. Even though the reason that Natsuki and, oh, we got a battle for the lead. Marcus Mendez trying to take the lead away from Sayori. And the MotoGP driver will make the position up. What? Make up the place. But here comes that roadster into the second hairpin, into the second corner. Not second hairpin, second corner. Mendez has the inside. He can fight this back, and he will. And Thomas just gives up on that one. He doesn't even contest that apex. Rather just wait for the next opportunity, which is approximately now. He's going to get back to the inside of the Suzuki. That's not the outside, but Thomas doesn't care. He's got the higher corner speed, he's in the lower gear. And he's got slightly more horsepower as they head down the hill. Thomas O'Reilly will grab the lead and then take the white flag. Minako is still holding, never mind. Yeah, no, she is holding Natsuki up, and now Thrash is looking to take the spot away from her. Heading into turn 1. These two vehicles couldn't be any more radically different from each other, and that's half the point of the challenge series, isn't it? Altenberg tries to overtake Sebastian Sham on the outside, can't get that done. And Natsuki's probably just exhausted her final chance to overtake Minako here. As Thomas O'Reilly is going to head down the front stretch and take a home circuit victory at Brantash. Marcus Mendez, Sayori Fujikawa will join him on the podium. Kaiser will net 0, not lose a place, not gain a place during her debut, but she made an overtake on one car, so in a sense, it's an uptick, but it's also not because she got passed by O'Reilly. And Minako, yes, indeed, held on to P7. Thrasher ended up taking 8th from Natsuki in the end. Those 4 cars were neck and neck for quite a while there. And Reiko has not had a great run of it lately. I got beat by Dexter. You gotta be fucking kidding me. And the 4th race of this episode is away. The 680 category goes to Laguna Seca for the 4th race of the episode. Yep, there we go. Commentary. Got there. While the main storyline of this race is the fact that Liza Kaiser is making her 2nd race in the Challenge Series and is debuting a Porsche 993. But the bigger part of that is the fact that she's actually making this start alongside her own daughter. We've had brothers race alongside each other, and even sisters, many times. This is, I believe, only the 2nd time we've had a parent and child duo race. The only group before that was Francisco racing with his many children. Well, 2 so far. And, oh boy. That's not gonna be, oh god, the Porsche is off the track. The AI miscalculated, apparently, literally. Alright, well that's great. So, first race together is mother and daughter, and Stephanie rear-ends her mom. Contact, runs into the back of her mom's car. It wouldn't be the first time. I said that out loud. I'm not supposed to know that, but I'm the omnipotent narrator, so I know that. Anywho, yeah, we are on board with Charlotte Riel, and a completely unrelated Porsche to the another 993, ironically, but a very unrelated one to the ongoings and that family baggage clusterfuck that has just taken place. Ugh. I think I saw Riel fangirling a bit in the pit lane earlier because she actually knows who Liza is, as somebody who has been cut off at the apex by Fujikawa, as somebody, though, who also has spent a considerable amount of time delving into the history books of her favorite car company, Porsche. She gets absolutely sent by Francesca Fidanzi. Yeah, that whole racing with dignity and honor thing, that really seems to have been hitting the wayside as of late. Francesca honestly hasn't been doing a whole lot better than Stephanie has in that regard. Only difference is that she doesn't have a dumbass in a Porsche Cayman that keeps making everything worse. Thrasher, unsurprisingly, is keeping up with the lead here at Laguna Seca as he's trying to find a way around Simon Nash to take the lead. He's not having any luck right now. Nash's car is a very wide one at the moment. There's a bit of a brief Porsche battle between cars new and not so new. And Riel will make a decisive maneuver to grab that place. Yeah, she knows who Liza is, and she was very excited to have found out that she is running the Challenge Series, despite her ripe age of 58, I believe, making her the second oldest in the Challenge Series, I think. And Riel has made an amateur mistake right there. Not the first time, but at least this one's not going to wreck her car like the last one she made. And that shall demote her down to P6. Still has a bit of time to recoup her losses as the bot is off track and it's just clobbered Francesca. Well, I mean, that was really nobody's fault. It's an AI. What do you want it to do? And Thrasher is now the race leader, as he followed Riel and through ahead of Nash at the time. And following Riel's rookie mistake going through the kink, he now has a pretty big lead. About 4 seconds, in fact. Riel's already back into third, though. If she drives, like, perfectly, she might have time to catch Thrasher. She also has to get through Nash pretty quickly, though. And she's gonna do that. She's gonna sneak down the inside of the Subaru. But that's how much time she has to make up, and she has about half a lap to make it up in. Shake the rookie mistake off, because Riel doesn't really have a lot of racing experience other than what she's watched other Porsche factory drivers do. She nearly does the same thing again, but this time manages to keep the Porsche on the asphalt. I think time has run out. She needed to not make that error to have any chance. Now she's only gonna have 2 corners and she's not within dive bomb distance. Oh, actually she almost is, but that Mustang is gonna get her on the front stretch, so... following Riel's inexperienced error, Thrasher is going to grab yet another home victory here at Laguna Seca. That seems to be a running theme in this episode. Home track of victories. Rantanen, I think, is the only driver who has won a race in this episode who didn't win from their home circuit. And Charlotte Riel and Simon Nash will be on the podium alongside him. Nash has been a pretty quiet contender. He hasn't really done a whole lot since his debut, like a couple of months ago. But he's managed to secure a solid result today by a little more than attrition, but third place is third place nevertheless. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at a brand new Challenge Series circuit. We head to Grand Valley Highway for today's roulette action, as we are on board with Hans Frankfurt, as he's already down the inside of several cars in his 760 class 997 Porsche. The debut of this race is Kira Kishibe's heavily reworked camera, please, heavily reworked livery on her 370Z. And it's certainly a lot more eccentric than the previous. Oh, we also have 2 new cars. Myself and Noir are debuting matching 300ZXs as our 640 class vehicles. And I mean, they are basically matching. Literally the only difference is like, we have one different sponsor between our 2 cars, and that's, I have North Central Alignment, my grandpa's repair shop, while Noir has Hyperdimension Racing. And then obviously mine's green and hers is red. Besides that, basically the same car. Nearly slamming to the back of Sodakov is Frankfurt, overtaking his team's ace, because even though, regardless of whether or not Stephanie is the better car, or better driver, in this case it is the better car. Oh my god. Francesca, please. Oh yeah, I just tried to drive straight through the back of Garrison. That's not quite how cars work, unfortunately. Race with honor. Francesco's probably got smoke coming out of his ears right now as he's seeing Francesca bang up that car. And then it is, well, it's currently a Porsche AG123. Stephanie might be under some threat from Sodakov, though, as he's in a higher category. He's in 720 class. And now Frankfurt must negotiate another one of his teammates, Billy Stuber, who's in a car that's one division lower than his rather than two. There are definitely some drivers suffering from inexperience here. I ran a few scouting laps to make sure this track was like up to the specifications of being a Challenge Series circuit. So I know the circuit, but most people really don't because it didn't open all that long ago. So that's why me in a 640 class car is still running P7. Sending on Noir has the same benefits and she's not doing as well. Oh yeah, I forgot Thrasher has a Mach 1 now for his 640 class car, so now he has a vehicle for every group. What the hell? What the hell? Okay. Oh, brake test from Stuber, you don't have to brake for that kink. And then a block 2. I knew tensions were high down at the Porsche factory team. I had no idea it was this bad though. And then tensions are equally high for Stephanie because of the relationship she has with her mom, who's making up 2 places on one straightaway here. Or trying. She's gonna get a Thrasher. She's gonna get ahead of Noir. Yes. A lighter car enabling the 993 to brake later and make the pass. Make the pass. What English? So Stephanie is running P4 in a 680 class car. Matsuki is 5th at 720, 680, 640, 680, 640, 680, 640, 640, 680, 640, 640, 760, 760, 760, 760, 680. What the fuck? What the fuck are you guys doing back here? That's just embarrassing, not gonna lie. Hans is finally into the lead. That's the only 760 class car that was running where it should be. But now even it has damage. So... as does Billy. He really does think he has to brake there, huh? Yep, Hans has to fix that damage. As does Billy, so Ivan Sodakov will inherit the lead. And Stephanie Kaiser will inherit P2 in a 680 class car. Frankfurt's like, fuck this, I'm getting as far away from you as possible. He emerges P5, Billy emerges P8. Behind Porsche's former ace of what I assume to have been the 80s and 90s, am I right? I thought he was gonna run into her, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It wouldn't have surprised me considering who we're looking at, but Frankfurt on the outside of Narashi, onto the overall podium. But this car should really should have the pace to take the lead anyway. It should never have left the lead in the first place, but his teammate's a dipshit, so here we are. Passes by Stephanie for the second time. So given the distance between her and Natsuki is honestly on track for an overall top 3 finish in a car that's in the middle category, which is just simply unheard of. People will simply out-drag Liza down the back straightaway. I would say this debut went swell, as I'm leading the category at the moment. Thrasher probably can't be too upset with the results of this. And as I look back here, Frankfurt returns to the race lead over Ivan Sodokov, and he will probably just begin to drive away now. Billy overtakes somebody else that I've heard him yelling at once or twice, Eric. I'm being overtaken by the 760 class cars, finally. Well, shit, we're only on the final lap of the race, I think. Harrison sneaks through on Jake Downey. Through goes the F8 of Francesca, maybe. She's being fended off by a truck. She will not actually make the past 6 there. I've heard of having an off day, but that's another level, Francesca. Goodbye. Time has expired, so that means that indeed Stephanie Kaiser is going to get an overall podium in a 680 class Porsche, followed by Natsuki in the 720 class car. So Frankfurt's obviously going to win the 760 category, and Ivan's obviously going to win the 720 category because they're the only cars still running on the track in those particular selections of cars. The confirmed 640 class winner is me, as we have run out of time. And there were no 600 class cars in attendance at all. Kira came last in the 680 class car. Not exactly the best debut for your new paint job, is it? As the sun is completely set here at Grand Valley Highway's debut race here in the Challenge Series. It's been absolute clusterfuck. A lot of people who don't really know where they're going yet. We can only hope that our roster will get a little more acquainted with the circuit in due time. I only hope. I mean, they have to, right? I mean, this is it's supposed to be a group of experienced professional drivers for the most part. And here comes Hans Frankfurt to, well, do his job and win the race here at Grand Valley Highway. And here comes Ivan Sodokov to win The 720 class and second overall. This has been a mess. So yeah, just to summarize some of the wacky finishing positions here. Jake Downey nearly finished behind me. Francesca did finish behind me, as did Dedrick Schwartz, 2 cars in the top category of the series, being beaten by me, debuting a car in the second lowest division. David Danvers lost to Liza Kaiser in her third race in the Challenge Series, and doing so in a car 2 categories above that 993. Garrison finished behind 3 680 class cars and 3 720s. Friggin' Stephanie has only lost to 2 vehicles, and they're both in a category above her. Kevin Begg should be kind of the same. So, this has been a complete clusterfuck, and hopefully next time the results make a little more sense if we even do another roulette race here at Grand Valley Highway, but foreseeably the track should work. We just need the people to put a bit more track time in and figure out what they're doing and how not to run into each other.